We can't live without our cars, but we can make sure they don't pollute our air very much. It's no surprise that older cars pollute much more than new ones, but you'd be shocked at how few old cars it takes to hurt Colorado's air, and how replacing old high-emitting cars with new clean cars can make the biggest positive impact of all.
Down here, there's a van that's beside the road on the ramp, and it's measuring emissions from cars as they drive by. This van can probably measure about 5,000 cars, and in a month, the vans in Denver will measure about 1 million cars.
Dr. Stedman developed the rapid screen technology that's used in the vans we often see on the entrance ramps to highways.
On average, the older the car, the higher the emissions. Today in Colorado, 1% of the cars, so if he measures 5,000 cars, 50 cars will come by here today. They'll be emitting 30% of the hydrocarbon from all the other cars that came by today. It is amazing how few broken cars are emitting a lot of hydrocarbons.
One way to reduce emissions from older cars is to recycle them. Rather than try to sell that smelly old clunker for a few $100s, you can recycle it for about the same price.
Approximately 92% of all motor vehicles are recycled, and 84% of a motor vehicle is recyclable, meaning it stays out of the landfills. The #1 consumer product in the world that's recycled are automobiles. The best form of recycling is reuse.
At Colorado Auto and Parts, old polluting vehicles are stripped of their usable components, then fed to the crusher.
And as the cars evolve and get more and more emissions controls and air pollution controls on them, getting the older vehicles off the road and recycled potentially takes some of the air pollution away that could be coming from the older vehicles, or especially vehicles that aren't well maintained.
After being smashed in the crusher to make them easier to transport, the next stop for many formerly polluting vehicles is a metal recycler like Western Metals.
To help get dirty cars off the road, we offer a place for people to bring automobiles to that are no longer functional or polluting.
Western Metals will take cars from auto recyclers or buy cars from the public. They'll remove all the oil, gasoline, fluids, batteries, and mercury switches, and then feed the cars into the shredder.
Ferrous material, shredder scrap, aluminum and coppers and stainless steel are removed and separated from the waste material.
The recycled materials are sold to steel mills and foundries in the United States and around the world, where they're turned into structural iron, rebar, and even components for new cars. New car dealers can also help by removing older, polluting cars from Colorado roads.
One of the ways that we're able to help as dealers is we take cars that are traded in, and instead of sending them to the auction like we normally would, we'll send them to a recycler. They'll strip the car of parts and crush the car, and that takes it out of the vehicle fleet forever, never to pollute again.
Of course, the ideal solution to automotive air pollution is to replace the old high-emissions vehicles with newer ones.
When you recycle an old car, you remove it from its pollution from the air completely. And if you replace it with a car within 3 or 4 years of new, better yet a new car, that is so low emitting, it's almost like an electric car. It almost has no emissions.
A new vehicle is over 100 times cleaner than cars produced 20 and 25 years ago. So the real key is to get those older vehicles off the road. We can have 100 cars driving out on the road that are new cars, and they pollute less than that one old car on the road.
If you're shopping for a new car, the window sticker will tell you the mileage and environmental impact. If you can't afford a new car, the best thing you can do to help clean up the air is to take care of your car.
One of the major things that we've learned is that what matters most is maintenance. New cars have no emissions. If you look after them properly, they can be 10 or 20 years old and still have no emissions.
So maintain your car, recycle it when it's had a good life, and buy a new one. With a little effort, we can all help clear the air in Colorado.